If you think that only older adults have high blood pressure, you'd be wrong. The sad fact is, children can have it too. In fact, the rates of high blood pressure in children have been on the rise for years. So what should parents know about high blood pressure in children? Hello, and welcome to House Calls. I'm Dr. Eduardo Sanchez, Chief Medical Officer for Prevention at the American Heart Association. The reasons why childhood hypertension is so prevalent are unclear. One theory is that high rates of hypertension go hand in hand with the rise of obesity levels in this country. And it is true that a great many kids do a lot of sitting these days. That's not good. The American Heart Association recommends that children 3 to 5 years old should be physically active and have plenty of opportunities to move throughout the day, and kids 6 to 17 years old should get at least 60 minutes per day of moderate to vigorous intensity physical activity, mostly aerobic. As parents, we need to educate ourselves about what hypertension in childhood looks like and what we can do about it. Joining us today is Dr. Rochelle Byfield. She is a pediatric nephrologist at the Columbia University Department of Pediatrics. Welcome to House Calls.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's jump right in. How critical is this issue? Is it changing or different from the past?
So hypertension actually is not uncommon in children. About 5% of children do have high blood pressure, and another 15% of them have elevated blood pressure. So it's not something that we can ignore, and it's something that is becoming more of an issue, especially with the rise of childhood obesity.
Does high blood pressure have symptoms?
Much of the time, high blood pressure can have no symptoms at all, but when blood pressures are severely elevated, you can have symptoms such as headache, chest pain, difficulty breathing, vomiting, or dizziness. And so it's very important for us to continue to screen for blood pressures, even in the pediatric age group.
Well, when should a child start having their blood pressure measured?
Part of our guidelines as pediatricians is to start measuring the blood pressure at age 3 in general population, and then in children that have risk factors such as chronic kidney disease or history of prematurity, or if they're taking medications that affect the blood pressure, we can start screening earlier.
What's a good blood pressure for a child?
That's a good question. So for children under 13, we determine their blood pressure based on how they compare to other kids, their same age, gender, and height. And so depending on how tall they are, how old they are, whether they're a boy or girl, we determine the blood pressure. When they're over age 13, we use a singular cutoff of 130/80 to define hypertension in the teenagers or adolescent age group.
What are a child's risk factors for high blood pressure, and how is it treated in children?
So much like adults, there are certain lifestyle factors that can contribute to hypertension risk in children. So that includes obesity or having a sedentary lifestyle, or changes such as high sodium diet or a diet that's high in sugary beverages. There can also be genetic risk factors, so hypertension that runs in families, and also factors from when you were born, so being born at a low birth weight or being born premature can contribute to developing hypertension in childhood. First and foremost, we emphasize lifestyle changes, so that includes increasing physical activity to at least 60 minutes per day, 3 to 5 days a week. And second, the dietary changes, such as focusing on a low sodium diet that's rich in fruits and vegetables, low fats, and high in fiber. We can also use medications to treat high blood pressure in children, and many of those are the same medications that adults will use for management of their high blood pressure.
Is childhood high blood pressure on the rise?
So certainly over the last few decades, childhood hypertension has worsened, and a lot of it has been driven by the obesity epidemic. Children now are a lot more sedentary, they have a lot more screen time exposure, there are influences on their sleep patterns, all of which can influence the development of high blood pressure.
Is childhood high blood pressure genetic? Is it curable?
So there are certain rare genetic disorders that are associated with early onset high blood pressure that starts in childhood. And then there are also other genetic risk factors that we don't know much about yet, but are under investigation in the research setting that predispose certain children to developing high blood pressure sooner than others. And that you can see in people that have a strong family history of hypertension starting in childhood and adolescence. So is it curable? That's hard to say, but it is a very manageable disease. It can be managed with the lifestyle and dietary interventions that we mentioned previously. And also, if those measures are not enough, medications are very helpful in managing hypertension in both children and adolescents.
Well, thank you so much for your time and your expertise, Dr. Byfield. Thank you for helping us understand hypertension, that is, high blood pressure risks for children.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's sad but true. Children can have high blood pressure. And since this condition has no symptoms, it's important that you take your child for their annual exams. Luckily, it's never too late to adopt heart-healthy habits for your kids, such as serving a diet rich in fruits and vegetables that is low fat and low sodium, and making sure your kids get regular physical activity. Learn more about managing high blood pressure at heart.org. You can even enter your numbers into our blood pressure calculator to determine whether you fall into a healthy range. If you have questions about health conditions, I'd love to hear from you. Comment below, hit subscribe, join me here next time for Answers You Can Trust.